It's my birthday. See, I'm such a little big girl, but I do weigh a whole whopping 9 pounds for being a 1-year-old baby. But my mom is teeny tiny too, so I won't get very big, huh? You always look like a baby.
Emily is also the only one of the cats I have whose birthday I actually know because we were able to see her born. But Roz, we know, is sometime probably in November, and Ember is sometime most likely in April. But both of those were members of the cat distribution system. Ember, when she was 4 months old, that's what the vet estimated her to be at. She just wandered out of blackberry patch when we were out picking blackberries in the middle of nowhere at like a Boy Scout camp. And we took her home with us. And so that was almost 17 years ago now. And then Roz was abandoned by someone at the gas station, and we pulled in to get gas, and we were the only people there. I mean, it was one of those small stations, so there were no attendants there. The gas station itself was closed. There was nobody else in the parking lot. So we rounded him up and brought him home as well. So that's how we got those two. But Miss Emily Jane back here is the only one that we do actually know her birthday. So we get to celebrate it on the day. So kind of fun. Isn't that right, baby girl? You can tell she's living the life. If you can see how I kind of have these holes offset for each row, this is a method that I saw, I believe it was on Pinterest initially, but it is some sort of a French gardening method where when you plant offset like this, so essentially it's like a hexagonal pattern, you are supposed to be able to increase the amount of crop you have because you can have your rows closer together. So I am doing that this year, and I mean, it does seem to be a pretty valid method because I am able to have these rows closer together, which means I get more rows, so I should be getting more crops. So I think that's a pretty solid idea.
All right, so what I have just done is I pulled up the Brussels sprouts. They just were not growing at all. I mean, they were still alive, but they just hadn't grown in size at all. And in another month, this bed is going to become a bean bed. It's going to have green beans and black beans. So the Brussels sprouts, there's absolutely no way they would have come to maturity in time. I did figure that was going to be the case when I put them out because they are supposed to be a spring vegetable, and I try to do succession planting in these beds as much as possible so that I can get maximum value out of them. But I have grown Brussels sprouts and broccoli before when I lived in the country and had a garden like half the size of this backyard, so I had plenty of space. to grow stuff, which I no longer have just because there's too much shade. And this is the only little stretch in my yard that gets enough sun to grow most of the vegetables that I like to grow. So anyway, at that point, I probably was not harvesting Brussels sprouts or broccoli until like mid-June, maybe even early July. So I just figured that it probably wasn't going to work, but I thought, what is the harm in putting them out and seeing what happens? So I have pulled them up, and then I replaced them with radishes because radishes are pretty quick. And also the benefit to radishes is if they're still growing, they're not a huge plant like Brussels sprouts, right? So I can actually plant green beans in between the rows of radishes and let them come up and just pull the radishes when they're done and ready. And I will probably leave some of the radishes behind because they make a great companion plant for helping to keep away the pests. So I have plenty of them out in here. And then the next bed over, which I haven't opened up, it looks like the Swiss chard and the black seeded Simpson is coming along nicely. So I'm going to throw the cover back over this, probably about another month. And then when it starts getting to where it's in the 40s overnight, I will pull the plastic off and kind of stop cold framing this. And at that point, I'll also be ready to start sowing my beans. And then the next bed over is going to be the same way. It has the greens in it. So I have it cold framed right now to help with growth during these chilly days. But another month, I'll pull that off and I'll just let it go. And it'll be time to start planting. I'm going to have squashes and peppers in that bed. So it'll be time to start getting that stuff all planted in just about another month. So anyway, gonna get this covered back up.
It's flooring install day. Michael's getting the saw out and getting it set up. And then we gotta clear all the stuff out of here and sweep up the floor a little bit and get started laying the floor. Well, it's safe to say there was a major miscalculation done because this is all the flooring that we had. I could have sworn, I think Mom told me there was 125 square feet of box, or maybe I looked and figured it up and I don't remember what the heck happened. But either way, we need like 6 more boxes of this stuff, which is like another $750. So yeah, that's a fun little surprise. But we're gonna have to order it because it was special order flooring. It's not in stock anywhere. So it's gonna be at least a couple weeks before we can finish this, unfortunately. Not much left of that pretzel. I'm really loving this mocktail trend since I'm not drinking this year, because this is a blueberry basil mocktail and it looks really stinking good. They're back. My sister's officially moved down. Now we just gotta unload it all. Got to move all the shit out of the shop so you can make room to get stuff in it. There's a big mezzanine in there, and my sister, so she, sorry if you can't hear me over the Kubota, but anyway, my sister has just moved in from another state, so she's going to be staying here for a little while until she gets a job and buys another house and all that good stuff. So temporarily, all of her stuff is being stored up on the mezzanine inside the shop. So we got to move it all in there. But the tractor is going to be a help. We're going to use the bucket to get it all lifted up in there. So. We had like 80-mile-an-hour winds the other night, and there's a sign, like a welcome sign at the end of my cabin that has disappeared. And we found the barbecue grill down in here, so we're looking to see if it might be down in here too. And Michael and Gabriel are going out on the side-by-side to see if it's out in the middle of the bean field. So, get a little tour of our woods, or part of them anyway. But all the violets. And then whatever these things are, I'll have to look it up because I don't know what those are. Ooh, it's a little chilly down here with the breeze blowing and in the shade. It's only about 50 degrees today. Nope, we're almost to the ditch. No sign of it yet. I'd say it's safe to say that it's not down here. I bet if it's anywhere, it's up in one of the bean fields. The barbecue grill came this direction, but I bet that sign got blown the other way. Ah, there it is. I heard a little drip. Got a nice little trickle of water. Somewhere way down at the end of all of this stuff, down in our creek bottom, there is a freshwater spring down there. It's a pretty nice feature to have on a property because if you ever needed it, you have safe, clean drinking water. Okay. I think we're done. I'm now back behind the shed, so it wouldn't have come this far anyway. So I'm gonna head back up and hope that they find it out in the field. Sorry for the crappy lighting. I'm over at Michael's house this time, and his kitchen's pretty dark, but he picked up some scallops from a local place to my hometown where I stopped, and I picked up, and I'll have to show you in the morning, but they had a really good sale on flats of berries again, so I got a whole case of strawberries for $5 and a case of blackberries for $12. So I have more to wash and pop in the freezer. But he also picked up some scallops, so we're gonna make those. But for the stuff to go with it, I'm obviously making my plant-based friendly stuff. So we're doing some asparagus and some summer squash that I had left over for the side. And then I'm making a dish that's kind of just gonna be a throw it together, so no recipe for it. But it is an Orzo pasta which basically is like the size of rice if you've never used Orzo, but it is a pasta, so it cooks a lot easier and it's softer. And then it is going to have oyster mushrooms and peas. And then I've got some cashew cheese left that I'm going to use to make it a little creamy, and some vegetable broth and some garlic. So throwing all of that together for dinner. Cashew cream, cashew cheese, whatever the hell you want to call it. Yeah. There it is. Time to go dig in. Now that I am home, check out all of these berries. So these, I think, were just $2 for a 1 pint package, but honestly, so I had these on my grocery order to pick up tomorrow, and they were $4 or $4.99. I'll have to look up the price and put it on the screen here, but per pint. So got twice as much for the same amount of money. And then for these, the blackberries, I'll look up the price and put those on the screen here too. They're somewhere between $3 and $4 for one container of these. And I got this whole flat, which is 12 of these, it looks like, for $12. So they were $1 a piece. And then this flat of strawberries was $5. $5 for 8 cartons of strawberries. So crazy, but I'm going to wash all of these up tomorrow and lay them out to dry. And then some of these will go into pie for Easter, and then the rest will go into freezer bags in the freezer for smoothies and pancake toppings and oatmeal, whatever I decide to use them for. So I love that place because I always find berries at a steal. And also check out the size of these apples. These are Honeycrisp, which are my favorite. And I'm trying to remember how much they were a pound. I think it was $2.99, $1.99. If I can, I should be able to look on their Facebook page because they always put what they have going on each week, and I can find out and put that up here too. But holy cow, like these are about half the size of my head. And then also, so these were $2.99. No, I think $1.99 a pound. Again, I'll look and put it on the screen here. But I got all of these for just under $4, and I used to buy grapes a lot, but after COVID with inflation, grapes were one of those things that went way up in price. Like I used to get this much for $2 to $3, and now they're running me around $6 at Walmart, so I quit buying them. So I was super excited to see that.
And then I believe these were also $1.99, and I got like 2.5 pounds. But I was going to just like buy a thing of frozen green beans for Easter dinner, but now I've got these. So there's plenty here for both Easter dinner and to freeze some. So I need to get those trimmed and blanched tomorrow as well. So I would say that was pretty successful produce trip. Yeah, what's she doing, Rosie? What are you doing, Emily? You little goober. Oh, you were after a Q-tip. Silly. Good morning. I have already washed all of the blueberries and blackberries, and I have moved on to the strawberries. I knew there would be some moldy ones in here because, I mean, you're paying $5 for an entire flat, so of course there's going to be some bad ones. That's the reason they're discounted. So I'm kind of picking through, but I'm going to wash these strawberries, and that'll be the last of it. My only issue with doing this is always the plastic packaging, but I mean, at least where I am, you just can't get fresh berries anywhere. Any store, doesn't matter, without, like, they all come in plastic. It's just, there's no avoiding it. So I will be tossing all of the plastic in the recycling bin. But I would still prefer to just not use plastic as much as possible because, plastic, I don't know how like common knowledge this is, but plastic can only be broken down so many times, like recycled through so many times before it becomes no longer recyclable. So I would really rather just not use it. But anyway, that is a long-winded explanation for what I am doing here. I wanted to just kind of chat with you guys while I'm doing this because I don't know how many of my subscribers or anyone who's seeing this is also in the world of TikTok. But there is something going around right now on TikTok about the Kellogg's boycott that starts April 1st and is going to last for the entire quarter. So in case you're not on TikTok, I thought I would share that here. So what we are doing, we as in just a ton of society in general that are fed up with the price gouging that has been going on. We're fed up with corporate America having record-breaking profits at our expense and constantly taking advantage. I would argue that I've probably already been boycotting Kellogg unintentionally for a long time just because, when you eat whole food plant-based, you're really not buying prepackaged processed goods. So, there's not really much of their product that you can buy. But, for anyone who is, that is what is happening. Starting April 1st, there is a nationwide ban of buying any Kellogg's products, and that extends, obviously, it's not just cereal, but like Eggo waffles, I know is a popular one, Cheez-Its, Pop-Tarts. So, but something else that is circulating that I'm really loving to see because it extends kind of into my world is people are making so many things homemade. Like people have looked up recipes for Rice Krispies and have found that Rice Krispies are basically just parboiled rice. And it's extremely easy to make on your own. And so they have started just like making their own homemade Rice Krispies. There are recipes circulating for like homemade Cheez-Its that are shockingly easy and turn out really well. Crackers, which I'm planning to do this upcoming week and should be in the next vlog. I want to try making my own crackers because that's one thing I have. I've done seed crackers before and I really did not like the way that they turned out. But I have found recipes for other. So essentially it's like a bread recipe. And that same bread dough, you can do it in different ways and get different products. So you can get bread, but you can also do pizza crust and, well, pie crust is not really quite the same, but it's pretty similar. And then like crackers. And so croutons, like there's so many things you can make even with just a basic bread recipe. But I'm really liking to see this because I have seen people essentially say, like, I didn't know it was this easy. And now that I do, I am never going back. And not only does this make me happy because, we are taking profits away from the greedy corporations that need to be taught a lesson, frankly, but we are also teaching people how to practice again the lost art of making things for ourselves, doing things for ourselves, kind of exiting the world of convenience and going back to a world of self-sufficiency. And I really love to see that because the drive for convenience has really spoiled American society a lot, and it has led to where we are with capitalism being the ruler of all, and we're at the mercy of these corporations because people don't know any longer how to do these things for themselves. So to me, that is a very, very positive kind of side benefit to this whole movement, and I'm loving to see it. And I will definitely be sharing now that this is currently trending, and I know I have kind of some knowledge and skills in that area just because of the way that I live my life already. I do intend to share a lot more of those things on here in the coming weeks, starting with, like I said, doing the homemade crackers next week. But it's something you'll probably hear me talk about a little bit more. And I'm really excited about this because sustainability, self-sufficiency, and making things homemade, setting those things aside just for the sole purpose of health. Because when you make, bread or crackers or something from home that uses 2 or 3 ingredients, you look on the back of a package of anything that you buy in the store, and it might have, the first like 3 or 4 ingredients or something might be recognizable. And then it's just followed by this long list of stuff that you don't even know how to pronounce it. You have no idea what it is. And, if you think about it, if I were to go home and make this myself, are those ingredients that I would be putting into it? Of course not, because you don't even know what it is or where to get it to put it in it. And it's those preservatives that are largely causing a lot of our issues, health issues, especially cancer, in this country, which is now, turned into the second leading cause of death in America after heart disease. So, from my nutritionist standpoint, like for me, that is the most important reason, bar none, because if we don't have health, we don't have a life, right? We don't have a life to even worry about what these corporations are doing. So health has to be number one. So I think knowing what to do to take care of ourselves well is kind of, first priority. And the trend for suddenly making all of this stuff from scratch and no longer buying these processed goods just because, we're doing it as a boycott of the company because of, based on moral values. But to me, the most important part of that is that we're taking back our health without maybe even being aware that we are doing it. So I'm all here for it, and I'm excited, and I'm on board. So like I said, I've basically already been boycotting unintentionally just because I don't buy those products. But there are a lot of other things that I don't do that I used to do. So like I used to make my own toothpaste. I used to make my own laundry detergent. Like that was kind of where I started back in 2008, 2009, when my grandma was first diagnosed with cancer and I first started researching things. I've since found products that I can buy from the store that I'm satisfied with. But unfortunately, a lot of those products, they might have started out private owner, but then have been sold out to bigger businesses, kind of like Burt's Bees sold out to Clorox many years ago is just a perfect example. Seventh Generation sold out to Unilever is another example. So there are a lot of products that once upon a time were good, and now like the products themselves may still be good, but the companies that they are under are doing some shady shit, right? And so for that reason alone, it's kind of worth it to go back to making some things homemade. And so it's been a long time. Like I was trying to recall my homemade laundry detergent recipe to Michael because he's like, how do you do that? And I was like, well, I know there was Fels naphtha. I know there was washing soda or borax, whatever you call it. And I don't remember after that. Like I have to go back and look. It's been so long. But, I'm happy to go back to doing that stuff. And I have been looking up recipes for like making your own lotion and making your own like shampoos and conditioners and things like that. And so I'm looking into it, and whatever I try, whatever I do, I will definitely bring that here to you guys. Another one that I'm looking at is making my own beeswax candles because, I love TJ Maxx and I usually buy my candles from there. But also, even when they say, they're a soy candle, that's great, but it's usually the fragrances in the candles that are toxic. And we don't really know how they're sourcing those fragrances, whether they're safe or not. Most of them, you may as well just consider that it's not. But I don't even need the scent necessarily for the candle. I like the warm, cozy glow. So I buying some beeswax. I have made a candle before because I had a candle holder that I really liked. And when it ran out, I didn't want to toss it. It was a fall candle holder that was a really pretty little orange, and I still have it. It was like a little orange. It looked like a little ceramic vase, but it was small. And so I refilled it. And making candles is stupid easy. So that's probably something I'll do. Like, I've got a couple of candles right now that are kind of getting close to their end of life. And so when they do, rather than buying more, I think I'll probably buy the stuff to make more. I mean, candles have gotten so expensive to buy that you can buy the stuff to make them and not spend any more money. So my microphone died right in the middle of that, which luckily I was at the end. It didn't happen early on because I definitely didn't realize when it died, and I just kept right on talking. So anyway, just to wrap that up, you could probably make about 2 or 3 candles from the ingredients that you buy and spend the same amount of money as you would to buy like 1 candle from a lot of places. So anyway, that is something that I will be doing. And I think it would be a really fun idea to go to like the local antique shops and find some different like glasses, bowls, vases, just whatever you can find, and use those as the container for the candle. So I will probably be doing that in coming weeks as well. So, I'm not going to, go out and buy stuff just for the sake of making it. But as I'm running out of things and actually do need to replace them, I will be doing that. And so I'll share with you whatever I make, and I will give you my honest thoughts on whether I like the final product or whether I don't. So I know I'm planning on making like some lotion bars, because the good thing about doing like lotions and conditioners and soaps and stuff and doing them in bar form is that you don't need to buy any preservatives. Because if you do like the lotion in a bottle, or you make like a shampoo or conditioner that's in a squeeze bottle rather than like a shampoo bar, which the shampoo and conditioner I have, I'm going to research the company first and see what I think, because I use one. It's called Avalon Organics right now. I'm not thrilled about the conditioner really, but I do like the shampoo. But so I'll do a little bit of research on the company first before I decide whether I will buy from them again or try making my own. But things like that, if you're going to make the kind that is actually like kind of liquid and in a bottle where you squeeze it out or pour it out or whatever, you have to put a preservative in it, because otherwise it's only going to be good for a few days. So, but anyway, as I'm making some of these things, I will share them on here. The laundry detergent, I use BioClean, which is another one that used to be, a great company. And it's been some time in the last couple of years, they sold out to a big business. So I will look into that, see what the business was, decide whether I feel like they are ethical or not, and kind of go from there. But the good thing about the BioClean is it lasts so stinking long. Like, I buy a jug of that, and when it was just me doing the laundry, it would last like a year. But then Logan started doing his own laundry. And so rather than him washing his stuff in with mine, he's doing it separately. So there's more loads. Therefore, it doesn't last as long. But I'm still getting 9 months out of a jug. So it'll be a while before I run out, because I just bought some a few weeks back. But I will probably, go back to making my own detergent. So it'll be a while before I get to that one. But just some examples of things that I'm going to give a try coming up on here. And each time I do it, of course, I'll share it with you. And if it turns out to be a total fail and I hate it, I'll be honest and tell you. But so those are some of the things that you can expect to see in the coming weeks, months, just see where we go from here. But I will kind of keep you guys apprised of the goings on of the TikTok world and this whole Kellogg's boycott, because it is going to be for a full quarter. They're doing Kellogg's from April 1st through the end of June. And then after that, they're going to switch and do another company. I believe Nestle is the next one. So the quarter from July through the end of September is going to be the company to boycott all of their products. So kind of the idea here is to just make them have in their quarterly financial statements, make it show where they have, taken a big hit in profits. And essentially we're voting with our dollars to tell them, we are sick of this. We are the consumer. We are the ones who keep you in business. So listen to us, or we will no longer buy your products. So anyway, I'm going to let these things dry. I definitely need to cut them up because there's a lot of bad spots that I need to cut out. I'm going to get those in a freezer bag. But I probably won't do that now. I'm going to go ahead and head for the farm so I can work on that ceiling fan, let these get good and dry, and then when I get home, I will finish them. So I will catch you guys soon.
Well, I came out here to put the light kit together, and there's nothing to put together. I came all the way up here for basically nothing, but you know, it is a fairly warm, sunny day, so I may just go take a little stroll around the farm, or who knows what I'll do, but don't need to worry about anything with the fan because it's done. And with that, I'm going to bid you adieu because this thing is already like 35 minutes long, so I will see you next time.